So thank you for joining us for this morning's webinar for Teamcenter on the Cloud. I'm going to start out with introductions briefly, and then we will jump into our topic, Teamcenter on the Cloud, talk about cloud infrastructure, the business case for Teamcenter on the Cloud, and then jump into a presentation actually on Teamcenter on the Cloud and how it would work and that sort of thing. And then we'll review a brief video that will show a demonstration of Teamcenter on the Cloud, and then we'll open it up to a question and answer session. All in all, we should be roughly about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how many questions we have from the audience. And I would ask that you hold your questions till the end, or you can also send them through the chat line. So my name is Rich Solte. I'm the Vice President of Sales with PROLIM. I have collectively about 25 years of consulting experience. Half my career was in IT and half has been in engineering. Also joining me today for the presentation is Anant. Anant is one of the senior technical architects with PROLIM, and he has over 13 years of experience working on various PLM systems. He's also based here in Detroit in our headquarter office. And on the line we also have Prabhu Patil, who is the founder and president of PROLIM Corporation. Prabhu also has collectively about 25 years of PLM experience working for various companies, including IBM, Dassault, and Siemens. And last but not least, we have Kip Batista with Siemens PLM Technical Group. Kip also has over 17 years of PLM experience, and he'll be part of our Q&A session. So jumping in, just a quick overview of who PROLIM is. If you look at our name, actually, we specialize primarily in product lifecycle management. It's right in the name, PROLIM. We're headquartered here in Detroit in Farmington Hills. We've been in business for over 10 years. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary last June. And as you can see, we have won numerous awards over the years for our success. Our primary area of expertise is IT, PLM, and engineering services. That's what we focus on primarily. And we have a strong presence, obviously, in automotive, aerospace, high-tech, and manufacturing. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Anant, and he's going to talk a bit about cloud infrastructure.
So thank you, Rich. Hello, everyone. So we are going to have a refresher on the cloud first, and then we'll see like how Teamcenter works with the cloud. So as you see, like Teamcenter has got wide PLM capabilities, and it has like rich PLM capabilities, and it will cater to all your needs depending on design management, document management, manufacturing, sustainability, systems engineering. And it has never been more powerful and never been more simpler to use. And with Teamcenter on the cloud, it has become like easier to deploy. So you can get fast return on your PLM investment with Teamcenter on cloud. So we'll have a quick refresher on what cloud options are. So you have a public cloud, community cloud, a private, and hybrid cloud. So what are these? The public cloud is basically when your different organizations share the same infrastructure on the cloud. A community cloud is where different organizations which have the same security risk and similar business model, they share a common space in the cloud. Private cloud is completely where organizations share infrastructure of their own in the cloud. A hybrid cloud is something where you have a mix of one of these other cloud options. And how do you decide which cloud option you should move? And it basically depends upon the price advantage. A public cloud has definitely a lesser price. if you want more security and specialization, you move towards a private cloud. So what are the different Teamcenter deployment options? Teamcenter has got a lot of flexibility in deployment options based on your network latency, your sufferance, and technologies which you use. So you have a divisional or a multi-site option wherein you have autonomous Teamcenter installations, and each of them are synced to each other. The centralized option is something which is one of the most desirable options, and it has the scalability to have like your different global deployments connected to the same central server. The supplier and joint venture is somewhere where it's a mix where you have your suppliers and joint ventures which are smaller sites, and they can be connected and synced to your main server. So we'll go through some records of the cloud, and we see like the SIM data has this research done, and you can see like Siemens Teamcenter product has been the market leader for last 10 years. They have better PLM capabilities, and they have led the market in PLM space. The CIOs and CFOs of various organizations are actually going towards cloud. So this is a research done by IDC, and the CFOs and CIOs, 70% of them are embracing cloud because of its scalability and low cost of ownership. And if you have not noticed, you have been using cloud for a long time. Research by Aberdeen Group has shown like, public cloud has been in use for a long time. For last 2 to 5 years, it has been consistently being used, and people are mostly using SaaS applications, which is basically software as service on the cloud. And you might well be using it like, in your emails, like your emails are on the cloud, your Netflix, your music downloads. So you were unaware, but you have been using cloud for a long time. The different cloud service models. So you have the traditional IT where everything has to be managed by you. Then there is this infrastructure as service where applications, data, and some of the middleware is being managed by you, and the rest of the servers, storage, networking, and virtualization is managed on the cloud. Infrastructure as a service is something which Teamcenter comes with. Platform as a service somewhere is where you manage only the applications and data. The rest of the things are managed by the cloud. And software as a service, which is basically an internet-based, you use usually web browsers to avail this facility. This is a software as a service where everything is managed on the cloud. Now, the networking and security has been, a major point where people, whenever we talk about cloud, this is being discussed a lot. What I'm going to tell you is the different options with AWS, like Amazon Web Service. What are the networking and security options we have? So one is the Amazon Web Service Direct Connect. This is something where you have a direct connection from your data center to the Amazon Web Service on the cloud. So this direct connection is many a times better than your internet connections. It provides better network latency, network bandwidth, and also it provides a consistent user experience. The Amazon Virtual Private Cloud is something where you can actually go into the cloud and have a same traditional topology, same network topology as your traditional on-premise setups, and you can set up your security groups. You can set up your access manager, access controls inside the cloud, and you can connect to your VPC from your data center using a VPN to your private subnets or public subnets. The single tenant approach is somewhere where it's an advanced approach where you can have the entire hardware dedicated just for your implementation. The different deployment considerations, like when you go for a cloud, what are the considerations you should think about? So definitely location, like whether you want to have off-premise and on-premise. Off-premise definitely will give you an advantage that you don't need that much of space for your deployment. The infrastructure, homogeneous or heterogeneous. Heterogeneous is definitely where you have to have very specific infrastructure needs. If you go with homogeneous, definitely it reduces your cost. Business model, you want to pay as you go, and you don't want to have capital investment upfront. For startups, this is very, very important. Like, if you are doing a startup of PLM implementation and you're not sure of how much of infrastructure you will need, and you don't want to, wait for your infrastructure, wait for your hardware to, wait for your hardware acquisition. The operational expense is something which you should go for, and that's where your on the cloud will help you. Ownership is something where you don't own the infrastructure, but it's basically rented or leased. The management is basically done by your third-party vendor like PROLIM, where we take care of your management of your infrastructure. Now, the entire cloud is something where you can actually manage your entire cloud implementation from your laptop, your phone, or your any mobile device from anywhere in the world. You can manage you can see your billing usage. You can how you are billed, what is the usage you are consuming. You can start and stop your services from your iPhone or your any phone. CPU usage. You can put a spike CPU usage alarm. You can put like a threshold usage alarm on the cloud, so that you always are aware of how much of CPU is being used. Another important, the security concern which is going on, like there have been recent hacks which have happened to some big organizations, like on-premise, like Home Depot and Target. There have been concerns, but we are sure that the cloud implementation is much more secure than your on-premise. It is ISO compliant, ITAR, FISMA compliant. You will pass all your audits, and still your customers, like as customers, you still have access to your data. You're not going, you're still holding on to your data. You are still ultimately responsible for your data. And cloud comes with state-of-the-art disaster management, and your data is always backed up. And you can be assured that nobody touches goes and goes to the hardware and pulls your data out. That's not something with cloud it will happen. Saying that, I'm going to pass it on to Rich again. We'll go through a business case where we'll discuss how advantageous is cloud implementation.
Thanks, Anant. So when we look at business challenges as an organization today, a lot of you may be facing issues with product features, product performance, costs, delivery schedule, manufacturing capacity. Having a clear communication path, standard processes in place, and finding information quickly at your fingertips are all keys to using Teamcenter on the cloud. Knowledge is power. That old saying is very, very true when we talk about PLM. And leveraging technology, that's another big advantage of what Amazon on the cloud, which is what we're presenting here today, provides to you. So PLM software on the cloud, in conjunction with what PROLIM offers as a service offering, gives you a better advantage in communication, helps you in managing version and change control, automates some of your workflow processes, and search and classification, so that you can literally get things at your fingertips and on a global scale within a large enterprise, especially for your remote location. When you look at large companies, that's where PLM software has been extremely helpful, but it also applies to even small to medium-sized businesses. Startups that are looking to get into setting up an IT department where, you know, they may not have nearly as much money. For instance, a new startup may start out with, say, $1 million capital to get their business going, and they may not be able to afford to have servers and a PLM tool in-house. So when we look at the cloud, you can actually move to the cloud very quickly and very cost-effectively, where it will save a startup quite a bit of upfront cost, and they can just basically rent the software and the platform as a service on a monthly fee. Cost hurdles, cash flow management, capital restrictions, and facilities expansion are all major barriers that cloud computing breaks. By being able to utilize the cloud, you can overcome a lot of these problems. Studies have shown that as the cloud continues to evolve, it is becoming much more reliable, up to 4 times more reliable and a quarter of the cost for on-premise infrastructure. Looking at Teamcenter on the cloud, Amazon is the only platform today that Teamcenter is certified on. There are other alternatives out there, such as IBM or Microsoft as well, that you can consider. But Amazon was one of the first to market, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in our presentation. So CIOs and CFOs are really looking for zero capital to transform their IT business. So I'm going to jump into a sample of what the total cost of ownership would look like for a customer. And the sample I have here is a standard automotive tier 1. This particular example, they have 20 different web servers with 5 different database servers and approximately 10 terabytes of data and 1,000 users accessing their PLM system. As you can see, the on-premise cost is approximately $500,000 per year. Moving this same implementation over to Amazon Web Services on the cloud, basically your costs go down dramatically, down to $76,000. So there's a difference of $444,000 in cost savings per year. And if you look at that over 3 years, which is what most CFOs would be looking at, it's over $1.3 million. That's a huge cost savings. By basically using PROLIM and having us come in and set up and outsourcing your IT and your PLM needs, we can basically support you and save you quite a bit of money. Showing a little bit smaller example, this next one is a customer where they only have roughly about 30 users, and they just have 2 servers, 1 database server, and 5 terabytes of data. Again, the on-premise cost is $115,000 per year versus moving it to Amazon Web Services, the cost would go down to roughly about $28,000. So again, you're looking at an $87,000 cost savings. And over 3 years, that leads up to over $250,000 in cost savings. So I'm going to turn it back over to Anant, and he's going to talk a little bit more specific on Teamcenter on the cloud and walk you through how that would be set up and what it would look like.
Thank you, Rich. So As I mentioned, like, Teamcenter on the cloud, the vision of Teamcenter of the cloud is to simplify your deployment by providing a flexibility to quickly scale your deployment as needed, and which will definitely help you in reducing your cost of ownership. The different deployment, to simplify the deployment, Teamcenter and PROLIM have come up with the cloud formation scripts. We have automated scripts, and Teamcenter on the cloud works with the proven cloud service provider like Amazon Web Service. And we as PROLIM, we are certified partners, and we are certified partners to Amazon Web Service also. So we can help you with different scripts, and we can get you onto the cloud as quickly as possible. The cloud, as I have told many a times, it has capabilities of scaling your deployment instantly. So you can instantly deploy additional instances or data caches across the globe whenever you need. PROLIM can take care of your infrastructure. We can reduce your IT burden and maintenance cost. This is a simple deployment topology, how it shows up in the cloud. We have we have automated scripts. Using automated scripts, we can get your infrastructure on the cloud. Your databases, your business logic server and web servers, we can put you in a single server, and using reverse proxy, we can connect all your clients in a secure and standard way to your Teamcenter servers. The Teamcenter on the cloud. This is a picture of how the cloud Amazon Web Service interface, how it shows like how you can change the instance type. You can change your server instance based on your memory usage, your disk space, and your usage. You can also have your pre-configured machines set up on the cloud, and you can switch between those machines as and when you need. The Teamcenter on the cloud allows you to have a low cost of ownership. And from a traditional IT, it changes everything. Like infrastructure is basically managed by us, by PROLIM, and the upfront administration infrastructure cost is basically null for you, because PROLIM will put everything on the cloud for you, so that you can instantly start up your Teamcenter on the cloud and start using the PLM as fast as possible. The CAD management on the cloud is something which, for startup or anything, for if you are trying to go for PLM implementation, the first thing is comes to your mind is how to manage your CAD data. And Teamcenter is very powerful with management of CAD data. You have, it provides you, a way of managing your multi-CAD. You can have different suppliers working on different products, on different CAD packages, but Teamcenter can manage all the data, and it provides the JT common open 3D system, where you can convert all your without even having the actual CAD which authored the CAD. You can manage your whole of your CAD using JT 3D data. So how Teamcenter, this is something like, we for startups, we are very much suggesting that for the startups you can actually have a rapid start along with having Teamcenter on the cloud, so that you don't need any capital expense to start with. You can directly start managing your CAD data using Teamcenter along with Teamcenter on the cloud. This is a simple deployment topology, how your traditional IT, from your traditional IT, how when we migrate your traditional IT to your cloud, how it will look. So your basically the 4-tier clients will stay in, you still have your desktops, but your web application server, business logic server, and database, they go on to the cloud. The global infrastructure for the global enterprise. This is the whole Amazon Web Service regions and Amazon Web Service edge locations are scattered all over the world, and we can help you find your nearest region and edge location, so that it will have less latency, and we can put your infrastructure on the cloud. So saying that, we'll have a quick video of showing about the cloud capabilities.
Siemens PLM software in the cloud can help companies worldwide in addressing their critical business needs and providing a platform for innovation. Giving your customers what they want is a requirement for success, yet it can be a challenge if customer requirements are captured late in the design process. With Teamcenter on the cloud, you can get early and iterative customer input to design process. Great products are increasingly designed and validated digitally with the aid of a globally distributed supply chain. While suppliers can play different roles in your product lifecycle, they often must deal with multi-CAD environments and multiple processes that vary from customer to customer. Suppliers need a communication tool to participate in PLM processes, and OEMs need to quickly collaborate with new suppliers while protecting intellectual property. Suppliers need a communication tool to participate in PLM processes, and OEMs need to quickly collaborate with new suppliers while protecting intellectual property. Teamcenter on the cloud enables suppliers and OEMs to work collaboratively using accurate, up-to-date information. Teamcenter provides a streamlined and intuitive PLM user experience to accommodate a wide range of users. For extended enterprise users, such as your executives or sales and marketing team members who simply need an authoritative data source to accomplish specific tasks, Teamcenter Active Workspace provides a simple, web-based, intuitive interface. Teamcenter Active Workspace combined with the cloud enables you to extend your decision-making globally across any device. The flexibility that Siemens PLM software in the cloud brings to our customers allows for total adaptability to your needs and puts you in control of your own innovation.
Okay, so to summarize, cloud-based PLM is real. And a lot of what you've seen today, we've demonstrated that Amazon Cloud, along with PROLIM services, is something that we can bring very quickly and very scalable to organizations, small to large to medium. Performance advantages and cost advantages are very favorable for moving things from on-premise to the cloud. And as you can see, the performance is getting better slowly but surely with cloud. So a lot of companies are starting to move over to that. I would expect in the future you will see that a lot of vendors are going to start moving to software as a service or managed services over time. But it's still an evolving market, and as the internet gets better and there's more connectivity and speed and things like that, you will see that things will get better for organizations and they will start moving towards this. What we're seeing today is primarily a lot of organizations are looking at a hybrid model, especially for the remote locations where they may not have as good connectivity in their existing infrastructure for places like India or China or South America or maybe even Africa. The remote locations, the connections are just not there because there's not that much infrastructure in place today. So when you look at cloud, that's where we're seeing a lot of organizations are looking at the hybrid model where they have some of the information on premise and then they move some of it for connectivity to the cloud. So why does PROLIM care and how do we leverage on-premise versus off-premise? Because customers care. So the benefits of the cloud are only possible in the cloud. Cost savings for our customers by leveraging PROLIM services and reducing the deployment costs globally for an organization or even a startup for that matter is quite significant. You will find it's at least 4 times price advantage compared to trying to bring things in-house. The traditional ordering hardware and having to wait, maybe a month or 2 before you can get things deployed, that's gone away now. With the cloud and utilizing PROLIM or your PLM integration, we can basically get you set up and running in a much faster time period. And the days of having to move things, over several months and planning out have gone. You can literally be up and running on the Amazon cloud literally within minutes. And if you need to scale up, you can add servers, you can add additional hardware, additional memory processing based on the amount of users and your network capacity that you're seeing very quickly. So with that, I am going to open it up to a question and answer session. So if anybody from the audience has any kind of questions, feel free to ask away. Okay, so I did get a few questions that came through the chat line. The first one that I have is, I have a small IT staff, and how do I replace that? So, Kip, if you don't mind, can you maybe talk to that one a little bit?
Sure. So, on the last slide that was, some of the things that were said about moving your on-premise hardware and all of those things that need to happen within your company, those things can actually be put up to the cloud. We can virtualize any system and bring them up to the cloud. And that being said, that can be managed all by PROLIM. So anything that happens in the cloud, it's up to the customer to think about how he wants that managed. Do you want to hire people, keep them up to speed to manage all those things, or do you want PROLIM, who that's what they do all day long, right? They know all the new systems, software up, all that stuff. They can manage that. So that could really cut down on your IT costs, right? And you don't have to manage the hardware. And one of the things I want to kind of comment on the last slide is that as companies start to grow, they might need a lot of infrastructure this month, next month. But then as projects start to, get released and get pushed off, they don't need that much infrastructure. So now what you can do, it's very flexible on the cloud. You might need a whole bunch of data servers, for the first 6 months. But after you're done, you can scale them back to 2 or 3. So now your costs are very flexible and very granular, so you can really manage that. And that's the important thing about the cloud. One, you can have PROLIM manage all of that, or you can take on some of that. And, as far as hardware costs and things like that, those are very flexible.
Thank you, Kip. Okay, another question that came in is putting CAD on the cloud. How exactly does that work? Anant, if you want to take a...
Yeah, you can, as I was mentioning, CAD can be put on the cloud. Your volumes and data caches, they go into the cloud. PROLIM can help you with, the scripts, and we can, if you already have existing setup, we can put your existing setup also on the cloud. And, we connect your infrastructure, whatever, on the cloud to your nearest edge locations and AWS regions.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to that too is when you look at Teamcenter and you put it on the cloud, your Teamcenter server, and if you have the JT translation set up, you can actually use a multi-CAD environment on the cloud. And that's very powerful. So you may have different locations, for example, say in the US, China, and India, and let's just say each one of those is using different CAD systems. So maybe one region is using NX, the other one's using CATIA, and the third one is using PROE. They're each developing subassemblies. You can actually bring that all into the JT file format in a multi-CAD environment where you may have CAD pieces from 3 different systems put together into a main assembly, and you can actually view that in JT. That's extremely powerful, and being able to bring that to the cloud will speed things up. You're not going to have to sit there and wait for a subassembly that might take maybe a half hour to load or an hour to load sometimes because there's a lot of parts. In the JT file format, it's going to move a lot faster across the cloud, and being able to collaborate is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Can I also add to that?
Sure.
The JT format is just not a viewer. JT format is actually precise geometry. So if you're in PROE and you're dealing with a NX part or a CATIA part, you're able to actually assemble that into different applications. So it's just not a viewer. You can actually use that.
Excellent point. Thank you, Kip. So another question I have that came through is active workspace. Is that something that can be deployed on the cloud? Prabhu, you want to go ahead and answer that one for us?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Active workspace on the cloud, is that something possible?
Yes, absolutely. The Active Workspace is a layer of user interface layer on top of Teamcenter, and that's the right way to deploy Active Workspace so that you can access the Active Workspace from anywhere, either from your mobile tool or iPad or anything else. That way you can look at the workflows that are in place, and you can approve them, look at the parts and pictures, the thumbnail image, etc. So this is a great tool to and a great approach to do that.
Great. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. I also like to add on top of that is that one thing to remember, to understand that Active Workspace, you don't need to install anything. It's through any web browser, HTML5 compliant, you can access the full entire Teamcenter application through Active Workspace on a tablet, on a phone, you name it. So there's zero install, no footprint on your desktop whatsoever to access all the data that you need.
Great point, Kip. Yeah, also I'll add to that you saw earlier Anant was showing how you can actually manage your network through the Amazon Cloud or Amazon Web Services console literally on your phone. So again, the mobile connectivity is there on a tablet, on a phone, whether it's Android or an iPhone, it doesn't really matter. So another question that came through is how much more secure is the cloud versus on-premise? And that's a really good question because a lot of companies are real concerned about, security on the cloud. So if you look at the United States government, the Department of Defense, is actually one of the largest users of Amazon Web Services. They actually have a complete ITAR secure site that the Department of Defense uses, and heavily it's used by specifically the Army as well as the Navy. Most of their applications are actually hosted on the cloud, and there's multi-level security involved in authentication that logs in. So when I say multi-authentication, literally it could be 2 or 3 types of security that's involved before they can actually get into the network. That is, in most cases, probably more secure than most organizations have on-premise today. The second thing is when you're on the cloud versus on-premise, you don't have folks that have access to plug in a thumb drive or throw a network cable in there and try and hack into your system. Because everything's on the cloud, it's in a secure data center within Amazon at one of their data centers where it's locked down and folks just don't have access to it. So it's much more secure than some of the recent hacks, like for instance at Target, a device was actually hacked with that particular hack there, and we all know what the result was. So I'm not saying you're totally secure on the cloud. Obviously, every system is, may have its flaws, but you will find that the cloud is definitely more secure than most organizations.
And it supports all your, whatever traditional on-premise topology, network topology you have. You can put the same thing on the cloud with all the security groups, access control lists. You can have specific people access through VPN. You can have that kind of security built in. So you can actually have divisions inside the cloud where you can have public subnets and private subnets, and control access to that whole cloud environment for specific people only.
Any other questions from the audience? So I've got one last question that came through on the chat line here, and the question is, what is the cost of a small install, let's just say like a 5-user startup? And that's a really good question. Literally by using PROLIM and having us come in and set up and configure you on Amazon on the cloud, you can get set up very quickly and easily, literally probably in a matter of days as opposed to, and the total cost for something like that would probably run between $20,000 to $30,000. For a startup organization, that's a significant savings from having to go out and buy their own server, go out and get the licensing and things like that set up.
Rich, I see another question. This is the SAP integration on the cloud. Can we have other and integrated environment to Teamcenter? Can we put it on the cloud? So there are different ways we can do it. One is we can put your existing environment into the cloud, using Amazon Web Service. Also, we have as I had mentioned, you have a direct connect between your data center and your cloud environment. Using that, we can actually have your Teamcenter on the cloud, and still your integrations will work if they are on-premise using this direct connect. So, there are different ways we can resolve this, and PROLIM has expertise to help you in this regard.
Yeah, it's very common to coexist PLM systems with ERP systems. Obviously, that's just one of the many things that we offer as a service provider, and one of it, as your PLM expert. So.
PROLIM.